Alright, Shalom Akim, back at you with another video, and it's on one of my favorite subjects. So before I go into it, I'm going to give all praises to Yehovah Hashem, Yehoshai, by Hashem, Rakah, Kwadash, double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth, for the power, the Rakah, Kwadash, sanitation to all the Akim, the Afwakim, the Wafbanim, and the house of David. I'm just going to go straight into it, It's just going to be a quick video on this is Alien Files Unsealed, and it just shows you a little brief, we yet to see a little glimpse of Yahushua's power, which we know that they call them aliens or UFOs. They're way off with that, but just check this out, Akim. It speaks for itself. Get to see a little glimpse of what the chariots can do and how our military is going to mess up. He's already messing them up, throwing them into confusion, and they're very baffled what they're calling the aliens from outer space. They're calling them UFOs or unidentified aerial phenomenon. That's what they're calling them now, because they're baffled at what they're seeing, and they want to control the narrative. But let's just go into and let's get a glimpse of
sealed. Top secret government evidence, compelling eyewitnesses, and radar testimony suggest that advanced, unknown technology is threatening our airspace, and we may be powerless to stop it. Many pilots have engaged a UFO, only to have that unknown craft outmaneuver their jets, and worse, disable their instruments and weapons. But what happens when a shoot-down order is given and the pilot fires his missiles?
Yeah, because they're able to diffuse, all the mechanics, all the electronics in the in any of the flights or any of the planes that come against the chariots. There's many examples of them diffusing the electronics, leaving the engine running, and just diffusing them if you try and shoot them down. But there's been more interactivity with the chariots than what we've been thinking. Obviously they're not going to put it on the mainstream news because they don't want to scare, they don't want to cause a big scare. Let's just hear it out.
Unsealed case file, the Peru incident. La Jolla, Peru, April 11th, 1980.
In April of 1980, an object was detected on radar in Peru. This is about 7:30 in the evening.
This is the case of Oscar.
Yeah, this is Nick Pope. Nick Pope is the
case of
Nick Pope, UK Ministry of Defence, and he's always on a lot of these documentaries, giving his two cents worth of, or other people that submit their cases to him, and he really just goes in, Nick Pope, he's on a lot of these documentaries explaining, and there's a lot more on record that we don't know about, but we soon see with our own eyes, because the Most High is just letting us down gently, showing us his power.
Of Oscar Santa Maria, and he was an Air Force commander who was scrambled in response to an uncorrelated target that was being tracked on military radar.
Almost 2,000 personnel are on shift at Mariano Melgar Air Force Base when what looks like a weather balloon is spotted near a high security area.
A UFO had apparently penetrated.
Yeah, because that's where they're allowed to appear over Air Force bases and military bases. They usually appear over them.
Was operating within restricted military airspace, and he was ordered to open fire.
Pilot Oscar Santa Maria Huertas is scrambled in his Su-22 Russian-made fighter jet, equipped with 30mm cannon. Ready with a shoot-down order, he flies directly toward the unknown target. But what happens next is widely considered to be the only reported direct hit on a UFO in military history.
So there's many examples of the Esau using this technology to try to shoot down the chariots, and it goes back as far back as 90 or back to the 40s with the case of the Los Angeles, the Battle of Los Angeles, 1942. So even from that time, they've been trying to shoot down chariots and having little skirmishes with chariots, but the chariots are just toying with them, you know. Let's hear more.
So he rolls up on this thing and fires off his cannons into this balloon.
He said that unlike any conventional object, he said it was almost as if the rounds from his cannon were absorbed by this craft, whatever it was.
It doesn't blow up, nothing happens, it seems to ignore the bullets, and then just ascends into the air at a high rate of speed. Gone.
It's a scenario that is every fighter pilot's nightmare. His weapons are useless. Still under a shoot-down order, Santa Maria spends the next 20 minutes playing cat and mouse with the UFO.
Yeah, after he absorbed his missile, yeah, like as if it was nothing, you see, he's trying to for 20 minutes after, he's still trying to play and trying to get it down, but the chariots are just toying with them. So your technology has no chance. The chariots are just toying with Esau's technology. The chariots are far superior to what you have. You know, he actually gave it to you, you know, little do you know.
Trying to take another shot. When he gets close enough to make solid visual contact, what he sees astounds him.
Now, I've met the Commandante, but I've heard it from him firsthand. I have absolutely no doubt that this happened exactly as he described.
Santa Maria claims the UFO is shaped like a light bulb, cut off at the bottom, with a cream-colored dome. It has no visible means of propulsion, no windows, no wings. This now declassified official account of the incident is sent to the DIA. It states that the pilot, quote, intercepted the vehicle and fired upon it without causing any apparent damage. Believing the UFO is advanced technology from an extraterrestrial civilization, Santa Maria fears for his life and rapidly descends back to base. Fortunately, the UFO does not follow.
Right, yeah, now he's got it sunk in. Boy, I'm out of here, man. There's nothing I can do against this. This is a far superior craft. So he's sunk into his thick skull. There's nothing he can do. But he's a credible witness. You know, and there's many other credible witnesses. These Air Force pilots, the astronauts that go up into space. You know, they say they go up into space, but they're supposed to be credible witnesses. But you don't hear nothing about this on mainstream news.
Situation, and any pilot in combat will be under extreme stress, and clearly if you add to that the factor that you're dealing with an unknown, it takes it to a completely different level.
What exactly did Santa Maria see in the skies above Peru? Did he fire upon a UFO? Did he actually make a direct hit? Or did he simply succumb to the intense pressure of intercepting an unknown threat?
So there's the extreme stress of combat in an unknown situation and the very realistic prospect of death. So you get this kind of conflict that on the one hand they're involved in this maybe highly classified effort to engage with UFOs, and then after it's all over it's like, hey, this didn't happen. So I think pilots have been put under extreme stress at both ends of the spectrum. During the encounter, it's the combat stress, and afterwards it's that stress of secrecy and threats.
Caught between defending our skies from unidentified threats and the possibility of Air Force reprisals, the testimony of pilots who have been ordered to shoot down an unknown craft is critical to the study of UFOs. But can their efforts be mistaken as...
Right, so there you have it. You say extreme stress of having to combat with, you know, as Nick Pope was saying, to fight with these chariots and get nowhere, realizing that all missiles they have is totally defenseless against the chariots. They succumb and they bug out. He's saying it's extreme stress, but basically they just bug out because they can't handle it. They can't handle the stress, so they bug out. And the Mossad's got his chariots, and they're toying with, you know, they're toying with the pilots, the Air Force pilots, toying with his technology, and they shot the missile at the chariot and it just absorbed it and looked at it as if to say, don't even try it. So we've got some scriptures, just one or two scriptures we're going to go in. And as this is, I guess this is my new thing, you know. I mean, I actually was out the other day and I saw a chariot. I was just talking, you know, looking up, and I saw a chariot. It just as it beamed up bright, as if to say, I hear what you're saying, man. Don't worry, I got this. You know, that's the feeling that I got, you know. Just putting up blessings and putting up curses to the wicked, and the chariot just beamed up, man. They just say, leave it with me, I got it. So, you know, as I say, it's always it's always like the first time when I see a chariot. You know, that's why I'm in this frame of mind. And I've got a lot of documentaries on chariots. And when I was younger, I used to be interested. I've always been interested in flying things, and it seems to be coming back to me now. From a young age, I was making paper planes. From paper planes to plastic planes. From plastic planes to paper kites. From paper kites to proper kites, proper material kites, sports kites, and flying them over park. I've only since I've come in the truth, I've stopped doing that. You know, I ain't been doing that so much, going over the park and flying my sports kites. You know, you get a sense of freedom when you're flying kites, man. And the Akim who know me know that they can back me up on that. I've always been interested in flying things. So now it's chariots, you know, and there's a spirituality to it, you know, from carnal to spiritual. We're going to draw this scripture, man. Psalms, as we saw there, you know, the Most High is toying, man. He's toying with these people's inferior technology, which they thought was superior. And this is just a tip of the iceberg, man. This is Psalms 2. We read from 4. It says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and the Lord shall have them in derision. That's what we're seeing, man. That's what we're seeing, and that's what they're coming to understand, man. That's why they're calling it. That's why they're calling it now the UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. You know, they're trying to control the narrative from USOs to UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. We're going to draw another scripture in Proverbs 1. It says, I also shall laugh at your calamity, and I will mock when your fear cometh. He's just like, the Most High is just toying with them, you know. The angels, you know, via the angels is toying with them. You know, playing cat and mouse with them. Just to remind them that you don't run this thing here. You know, the angels run this thing here via Yehovah Hashem Yoshai. You know, potentially, you know, that's our military. You know, superior. So I just wanted to show you that was one of my favorite documentaries on the chariots. You know, unseen foes, man. And there's a lot of documentaries that I got. I might do another video on another documentary, because there's a case where you got a couple in a car in Australia just driving their car, and they look behind them and see a chariot following them, you know, and then the chariot catches up on them and lands on the car, yeah, and it picks up the car while they're in the car and drops it, and they get out of the car and run into the woods, you know, terrified. So, you know, you ain't gonna hear these type of things on mainstream news, you know what I mean? But these documentaries bring a little bit, it touches a little bit on what's really going on. And I could potentially do a video on that, because when they investigated the car, they knew, and they saw all the dents, and the material was some strange material on the car that is not from this planet. So we don't even know what's really going on to the fullness, you know, but we're coming to see, and we're going to start to see some strange things, some real strange things, which we know are going to be from the Most High, you know, to reaffirm his power and to reaffirm Esau's inferiority, as we can see. So stay tuned, man. Oh, by the way, I have a new channel. It's the Real Maracarb 2. So it's the same. It's just the Real Maracarb, all separates apart from 2. So it's the Real Maracarb 2, which is joint 2 Maracarb. So as we know, they're messing around with the channels. You know, some of the Akim having troubles, and the apostles, they've been striking their videos because this truth is hurting them. And we know it's all prophecy, you know, in fulfillment, a famine of the word. So, you know, a lot of us are having our backup channels. So if they mess around with my channel, which they've already took down 1 or 2 videos and given me a strike, so a lot of the Akim are having our backup channels. So, you know, just bear that in mind. You know, if you start to see, you know, if I get out one morning and you know, they delete the whole channel, you can get onto the Real Maracab 2. So just to let you know, give you a heads up, prophecies are being fulfilled. This truth is hurting them. You know, they know that it's coming to pass. All the things that the apostles have been saying for 30 plus years are coming to pass. So it's really hurting them up. This truth is hurting them up. That's why they're trying to do everything to hinder this truth. But as we know, there's nothing they can do against this truth, only for the truth. So I'm going to leave it there. Akim. There's much to say on chariots. As you know, it's my favorite subject. There's a lot of prophecies being fulfilled, man. You know, I think it's in Taiwan. There was an earthquake or a tornado in tornado. So, and also there's a lot of heat. This heat wave is hitting a lot of people, and people are dying. Over there in China, many people have died from heart stroke, heat stroke. So these prophecies are being fulfilled. We know that they're implementing the chip. You know, in a lot of places they've already implemented the chip, and the only thing now we're waiting for it to be made mandatory. So this truth is hitting them up. You know, they feel that they're being prevented from their plans. So they're trying to do everything. They're flying the kitchen sink. But everything that they're going to do, they're also fulfilling prophecy. So there's nothing they can do against this truth, only for the truth. So I just want to say shalom to the Akim. Until the next one, we out of here.